Hello, my name is Stories by BR, and you are welcome to my channel. In every city alive with celebration, there is always one person who stands behind the sparkle. The one who fixes tears before anyone notices, the one who adjusts veils, straightens ties, reshapes bouquets, and whispers calm into anxious hearts. Sharon had become that person, the steady hands behind perfect weddings, the smile behind every I do. She had dressed 11 brides, stood beside 11 friends, and planned more ceremonies than she could remember. Guests always cheered for love, brides always glowed with joy, grooms always stared at their new wives with trembling devotion. And every time, Sharon walked away with a quiet heart, telling herself her turn would come, eventually. But love has a strange way of hiding in unexpected corners, and sometimes it waits years, even decades, before stepping into the light. This is the story of Sharon, the woman who made love beautiful for everyone, except herself. The woman who believed she had been forgotten. The last bridesmaid was about to discover that love is never late, just waiting for the right moment to arrive. The rain had fallen all night in Lagos, leaving the morning drenched in a soft, silvery glow. Sharon stepped out of her apartment, balancing a box of wedding favors on one hip and her handbag on the other. Another Saturday, another wedding, another friend walking down the aisle while she stood to the side, smiling like her heart didn't squeeze a little tighter each time she caught the bouquet, not out of hoping, but out of habit. Traffic was already forming along the expressway. She stared at the endless cars and sighed. "God, please don't let me be late," she whispered. Sharon was known for one thing: perfection. It was the only reason her event planning company, Lavender Knot Events, had survived the chaos of Lagos entrepreneurship. She worked twice as hard, slept half as much, and delivered flawlessly every time. Brides adored her, grooms trusted her, vendors respected her. But her friends, they had changed. She felt it in their tone, in the way they whispered, in the way their jokes carried sharp edges now. Especially Lami. Lami, her childhood friend, the first bride she ever stood beside, the one who used to sleep on her bed during sleepovers, now rolled her eyes whenever Sharon arrived in another bridesmaid dress. Last week, after a rehearsal dinner, Sharon overheard her. "I think she likes being a bridesmaid, oh. Maybe marriage isn't for everybody." The group laughed. Someone added, "Event planners don't marry early. They're always too busy planning other people's happiness." Sharon walked away before they saw the tears. She shook off the memory now and focused on the day. It wasn't Lami's wedding. It was Diane's, another university friend. And of course, Sharon had been asked to be bridesmaid and planner, a combination that exhausted her soul. By midday, the hall sparkled. The floral arch stood tall and flawless, the rows of white chairs aligned perfectly. Yet somewhere deep within her, a small ache pulsed with every breath. The bride rushed in, squealing excitedly. "Sharon! Oh my God, everything is perfect!" Sharon smiled at her friend's happiness. "I'm glad," she whispered. "You're next," Diane added teasingly, elbowing her playfully. Sharon only laughed, because if she didn't laugh, she would cry. The ceremony began shortly after. Everything flowed beautifully until the moment Sharon had learned to dread. Bouquet toss. Diane turned to her with a mischievous grin. "You must stand in front today. I insist." The hall erupted in laughter. Guests shouted teasing words. Phones were lifted to record. Someone yelled, "Sharon, catch this 1-0! Your village people have tried!" Heat crawled up Sharon's neck, but she stepped forward anyway, smile tight, heart collapsing. The bouquet flew. She didn't run. She didn't stretch her arms. She didn't try. It fell at her feet. The hall cheered. Someone pushed her forward. She bent slowly and picked it up. The hall roared louder, but in that moment, Sharon didn't feel chosen. She felt mocked, exposed, small. When the event ended and the hall emptied, she stood alone, staring at the now quiet space. Every bouquet she had ever caught sat somewhere in her apartment, a reminder of promises that never came. She unclenched her fists. Her palms were trembling. For the first time, she wondered if maybe, Maybe her friends were right. Maybe marriage really wasn't for her. She pulled down the arch decor slowly, tears blurring her vision. Her phone buzzed with messages from guests, vendors, and the bride. She ignored all of them. She needed silence. But fate had been waiting, quietly, patiently. As she stepped outside into the cooling evening, someone called her name. Sharon? She froze. That voice. Familiar, gentle, warm, like a memory she had packed away years ago. She turned, and there he stood. Tall, handsome, clean-shaven, and wearing the softest smile she had seen in a long, long time. "Wow," he said quietly, eyes softening. "It's really you." Her breath caught. She knew that face. She knew that smile. After all these years. Yemi had found her again, and nothing in her life would remain the same. Sharon's heart hammered so violently she thought it might leap out of her chest. Yemi. Her high school crush, the quiet boy who had once borrowed her notes, smiled at her as though no time had passed. Yet everything had changed. Yemi, it's been, what, 10 years? Sharon managed, her voice barely above a whisper. 11, he corrected softly, his eyes searching hers. I counted. A laugh escaped her, nervous, shaky. She looked down at her hands, still carrying the bouquet she hadn't wanted to catch. Somehow it seemed heavy, symbolic even. She wanted to put it down, throw it somewhere, forget it ever existed. You're, planning this wedding, right? He asked cautiously, glancing around at the decorations. Yes, she replied automatically. Lavender knot events. Her pride wove through her words despite the knot in her stomach. I handle the planning. He nodded, impressed, but there was something in his gaze, a question she couldn't read, something gentle, patient, waiting. You've done well, he said finally. Everything looks amazing, as usual. Sharon's lips curved into a small smile, but her chest tightened. She remembered the teasing whispers of her friends, the endless jokes about her being always the bridesmaid, the sighs and pity-laced congratulations she had grown used to. And now, after all these years, here was Yemi, looking at her like she had always been important, like she mattered. It should have felt good, but it didn't, because at the same moment, her phone buzzed with a new message from Lami. Did you see him? Thought you were too good for us now. Her fingers trembled as she typed a reply she didn't want to send. The past was crowding into the present, and it hurt in ways she hadn't expected. Yemi, noticing the flicker of sadness, reached out lightly. Sharon, hey, are you okay? She looked up into his steady eyes and found herself thinking, I don't even know anymore. And then a strange pang of guilt struck her. She had spent years building walls around her heart. She had refused countless dates, countless advances. She had buried herself in work to avoid the sting of hope and disappointment. And now, here he was, patient, kind, silent, waiting for her to notice him. Yeah, I'm fine, she said finally, not meeting his gaze. Just a long day. He nodded slowly, sensing the truth she wouldn't speak. For the next few weeks, Yemi began appearing in her life in small, unexpected ways. At the office, he would drop by with questions about collaborations. At cafes, he'd sit quietly across from her, offering advice or a shared memory from high school. At weddings, he'd appear to admire her work, always in the background, always watching, always patient. Sharon couldn't help herself. She found that she looked forward to these encounters, even while resenting them, because he stirred something she had buried, something she had refused to admit even to herself. But suspenseful uncertainty crept in. Her friends noticed him too, and not all of them were pleased. Sharon, Lami hissed one day during lunch, who is this boy again? Are you actually thinking of dating him? Sharon bristled. It's not like that. He's a friend. A friend, Lami laughed, loud and bitter. He's staring at you like he's been waiting 10 years for this moment. Don't act innocent. Sharon felt a flush of embarrassment, but also unease. She didn't know if Yemi's feelings were as simple as she wanted to believe. Or if there was a past she didn't know, something he hadn't told her. The romantic tension intensified when another figure appeared. Ademola, handsome, charismatic, wealthy. He was a client who had booked Sharon to plan a high-profile wedding, but his attention toward her felt personal, too personal. Ademola was charming, thoughtful, funny. Everything Sharon's friends teased her about in her youth. And before she could stop herself, she found herself laughing at his jokes, sharing moments with him. Yemi noticed. He didn't confront her, not yet. But Sharon could feel the subtle shift in his gaze, the quiet restraint, the almost imperceptible sadness that lingered when he thought she wasn't looking. This was the suspense that gripped her heart. Which path should she follow? The safe, patient love of a boy who had always admired her quietly? Or the thrilling, unpredictable excitement of a man who made her pulse race, but who could also disappear just as easily as he appeared? Her emotions became a battlefield. Her heart didn't know who to trust. Her mind questioned every interaction. Her friends whispered. Her clients noticed her distracted smiles. Even her own work began to feel heavier with indecision. Then came the turning point. Sharon had been planning a wedding for a prominent client, a high-stakes event with media coverage and social expectations. Everything had to be flawless. The day of the wedding, as she coordinated last-minute details, she discovered something shocking. Ademola had manipulated a vendor to give her a difficult, impossible task just to see how she would react. She realized then that he was not the safe choice she could trust. He wasn't malicious, but he wanted to win her attention, no matter the cost. Her heart twisted. She felt betrayed, manipulated, and for the first time, truly exhausted of the guessing games of love. And then, Yemi appeared. He was calm, quiet, steady, as he had always been. No games, no manipulations, no thrills, just presence. He said only, "Sharon, I'm here. Always." And in that moment she realized something. Love wasn't in the excitement, the drama, the pulse of danger. It was in the quiet persistence, the unshakable respect, the man who had waited without complaint. But her decision wasn't simple. Ademola wasn't gone yet. He tried one last time to impress her, to show her what might have been. Sharon, torn and tempted, felt the suspense twist tighter in her chest. Would she choose the one who had always loved her quietly, or the one who made her feel alive in ways she had never felt before? The answer would come, not in the chaos of weddings, not in the laughter of friends, not even in her meticulously planned life, but in the quiet moments between heartbeats, where truth revealed itself.